Therapy, Army, let's be having you. Let's be having you. What a final. Well, what a final from the 87th minute till the extra time and everything else. But before that, it was only one way, people. One way game. And at the end, I think justice was done on the day. Argentina were the better team and they deserve to win. Big up everybody. We say hardest to the, head up to the French team. That's what we say. We say that to the French team. And we also say congratulations to Argentina. One of the most, World Cup without Argentina, the history of Campes, the history of Maradona, now the history of Messi. Messi's finally done it. And I predicted that Argentina were going to win because I saw them in the Copa America. I watched their games in the Copa America, and trust me, they look like the team for the first time in a long time. They look like a team. They look like a team that can actually play and give the ball to Messi and get the best out of Messi at certain places. And they look like a mean-spirited team that will do anything to win. And that sometimes you need that. If you haven't got the most talented team, you need grit, the dark arts, determination. You need all of those things to win. So, vindicated again, Therapy Army. I tip Argentina to win the World Cup. Argentina have won the World Cup. But obviously, after the first game, I was like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? I'm not a hypocrite coming here. But Messi, to me, the biggest game for me was that when we could have gone out, and it was the Mexican game, that shot from Messi. That shot, that split second, that milliseconds of that left foot, that ball nestling in a corner, because that to me was when they were hugely under threat of going out. But big up to every one of you. Welcome. And that's what I say about football, people. Pure football at its purest. It's unscripted drama. Unscripted drama. And at its finest, there's no other sport. None of them come close. No other sport in the world comes close. Why? Because the way that one goal can change the game. That most of the sports you have to score, there's points and all of this. In football, it's just one goal. 22 players on a football pitch, and one goal can decide it. And then the game, you can dominate for 70 minutes, 75 minutes, 78 minutes, like Argentina did. And then, boom, 2 goals. Mbappe comes into it. A bad decision by a centre-half, and a brilliant goal by Mbappe. And then the game can go like that. And then everything in between. So that is somebody who's wiser than me, somebody who's won more in football, once said, football, bloody hell. Big up Fergie. Big up Fergie. And that's what it was. But big up, we got a jam-packed show for you tonight. Big up Mbappe. Big up Tom. How are we doing, guys? What a game. Mbappe, I'll go to you first. Me and you, we were all on the WhatsApp group going, you know what? They deserve it. Argentina deserve it. They bullied them. They hurried them. They didn't let them settle. They strangled them in midfield. They made it at times, actually, they were playing four in midfield diamond. That's what they looked like they were playing at times. France, the ball was going out of play. They couldn't put 2 passes together. Deschamps makes changes in the 40th minute. All of that is done. Then what happens? Boom, boom, boom. Game just turns on a spin. But big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And here it comes, say Messi. Saliba should have played. He would have stopped Messi. But Mbappe, I'll go to you first. Talk to me.
Yeah, evening, man. Evening, Tom. Evening, Claire. Evening, Therapy Army. Fantastic. I must say, what an ending to what turned out to be one hell of a tournament. I've not seen so many squeaky bum moments, so much drama in a World Cup in quite a long time, man. But as far as that game goes, Argentina seemed to settle very quickly. France couldn't. And on the last show when we spoke, I thought Argentina, man, South Americans do what South Americans do, and they came and they were very, very aggressive today. That first half, they were just a team, possessed, very aggressive, very good shape, and it was all Argentina. And at 2-0, you think the game is dead and buried. A mistake. Mbappe, man, he only needs half a chance, and I really feel for that boy today. He's been absolutely fabulous, and he is a special, special player. To take that penalty, to make it 3-all is, unbelievable pressure moment, and he just dispatches it beautifully. But congrats, man. Like you say, it was an amazing game. It really came to life. You can't ask for a better final. Respect to both teams. It's a fairy tale, fairy tales usually in films, but for it to end in this way, Qatar World Cup, Messi's last World Cup, and for the game to develop the way it did and take us on a roller coaster ride, and then for him to lift it, it's a fairy tale, and Diego banners and stuff. It was just beautiful to see. So, yeah, man, a great night of football. Congrats to both teams. It took both of them to make that final, and well done to Argentina, man. A really hard-working, diligent side, very well balanced. They got better and better as the tournament went on. And I thought tonight, man, they really, they really played well.
Yeah, man. Big up everybody. Welcome to the show, people. We're looking back at that, what possibly a lot of people are saying is the best ever World Cup final. World Cup final ever. People are saying. I
Could
say
be.
For 70 minutes, it wasn't. It was just a normal final. One team was so dominant for about 70 odd minutes, and then from 78 minutes till the extra time, it became a really good game. But Tom, how did you see that final? And what did you think of the World Cup as a whole?
Yeah, evening everybody. Well, I mean, with Argentina, the one thing that they've always had, history always repeats itself, and history always tells the same story. Is they're aggressive. Sometimes, in football, you've got to be bad before you can be kind, and in many cases, that's the Argentinian way of playing, isn't it? Or even as Bombay said, the South American style is be aggressive, be on the front foot, and Scolari, the coach, he didn't let any of those French players have 1 second on the ball without having an Argentinian player in front of them. The pressing channels that Argentina was using, that's how you press at world level and at the highest level. That's how you press. Because for that, I think it was the second goal with the counter attack. I mean, the pressure that they put on Theo Hernandez, when then he made the error and the mistake, and then the ball went through to McAllister, and then obviously put the ball in the box for Di Maria. I mean, the transition that they utilised, and that pressing system took out 4 of France's players. It took out 2 midfielders, Theo Hernandez, the left back, and it took out not Rafa Varane. I can't remember who played next to him anyway. It took 4 of the French, basically the defensive side of the French style, completely out of the game by pressing 1 player. That's what you call elite level pressing. Argentina did that for the whole game. Probably, like you said, about 70 minutes of the game. They probably dominate the whole game, majority of it. But you don't dominate games 2-0 and you switch off for 1 moment when you have a world-class player like Kylian Mbappe on the field. He only needs a yard. Players like that, they only need a yard. Lionel Messi only needs a yard and he put the ball in the top corner. Players like Kylian Mbappe, they only need that one little bit of space and they'll punish you at the highest level. The second goal, I mean, the technique to get it down on how he did and bury it in the bottom corner like that. That's what you call elite operating. It's a freak goal in many cases, freakish. Like you said, with the pressure with the penalty as well. The pressure that he was under.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It was absolutely unbelievable. By the way, if you like the drip, people, if you like the drip, If you like the drip, go and check it out, right? Use the code. I've pinned the comment here. Go and check it out. Go and check it out. www.theculturecouture.com and use the code URT to check out 10% off, people. So if you like the drip, if you like the cut, if you like this, you know what I mean? I really like this. I really like the hoodie. Very comfortable, very cozy, especially this time of the year, innit? It's beautiful. So go and check it out. Go and check it out. Big up my brother, Nadine. Love, people. Love, love, love. So go and check out, people. Go and check it out. If you want something cozy, if you want color, if you want nice drip, man, go and check it out, people. But yeah, for me, I was screaming, take a touch, take a touch. That's what I was screaming. I was like, the ball, the way that Turan played it back to him, I was like, take a touch. You're through there. You can just walk it in. No, did he? He didn't walk it in. He absolutely volleyed it on the angle and slapped it, like literally on the slide, like a scissors kicked it to the bottom corner, man. And it was too much power for Martinez to keep out. It's brilliant. Is Martinez the best penalty goalkeeper in the world? He is a penalty monster, by the way. What do you think about that, Bumbaye? Is Martinez probably the best goalkeeper when it comes to the mind games, when it comes to penalty shootouts? Is he the best goalkeeper? I think he is. I'm not seeing anybody like this. People forget against Colombia in the Copa America, he saved 2 penalties then. And then they went on to win. He did it against, who did he do it against on the penalties? Holland. Against Holland. And then he then go and does it in the final. I mean, penalties to me are a lottery. So for me, it was very hard to really say that one team was going to win and one team was going to lose, because for 70 so odd minutes, Argentina were by far the better team. From there, the game was up and down, end to end. It was an open game. It was full of attack. And that's why we love football. And like I said to you, for people who don't watch football, people who say I hate football, trust me. Like I said, like I always say, it is pure. It's purest. It's 90 odd minutes of pure unscripted drama. And there's no other sport that can give that. It is the world's game. It is the people's game. Even though the billionaire class have took over now. You know what I mean? They've got it in their hands. But honestly, it's Mumbai 8. Martinez the best. Is he the best goalkeeper, penalty goalkeeper that you know?
Yeah, I think so. Going into penalties, Argentina, we felt had the edge because they have him. He tends to, he's always talking to the opponent. He's always psyching them out, and he goes early. He makes his decision. And if you watch him, he dives early, which is what keepers are taught to do. But you just have to trust that process, and he really does trust it. And he's a really big goalkeeper as well. You know, he's a presence there. So, yeah, I'd say he's one of the best for sure.
Tom, what do you think of Martinez?
I think he's a world-class goalkeeper, and I think Arsenal didn't do themselves justice, did they, when they kept Leno on instead of keeping Martinez? At the end of the day, Martinez, you know, he's had the stories into, you know, he's been through the wars. If you meant in many cases, you know, he never got the chance at Arsenal. He had the loans and stuff. He had that little, was it like 5 games thing? Mm-hmm. And then he had to work his way to get that opportunity there. He got the move to Villa, been exceptional there. And then he had the opportunity with the Copa America with Argentina. Excelled in that. And then this World Cup has been brilliant, exceptional. You know, like you just said about penalties and stuff. I don't know. Like, I just think it's the mind games that he just gets to them. Like, for example, one play he kicked the ball like outside of the penalty yard box, so they had to take it like 10 seconds later. Little things like that, like, make you think or double think. And like you said in reading about where he dived and stuff early, when when you talk to do things like that, you've got to trust the process at the end of the day. And like Bombay said, he does believe in that process. If you want to, go down the face value of it all, put your whole neck on the line like he does. And, he's probably one of the best penalty goalkeepers that you can have in the world. God forbid you come up against a penalty against them. But like we were just saying before, Mbappe as well, I mean, commiserations to him. Let's be honest. You score a hat trick in a World Cup final and you don't win it. I mean, I think that's the pinnacle of being unlucky, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, 100%. Mbappe did not deserve. To be fair, 70 minutes he didn't do anything. For 70 odd minutes he didn't do anything. And then boom, boom, boom. Like, and that's one of the things about these great players. It's that their team can't construct. It's not his fault that his team were being bullied in midfield. It's not his fault that his defenders weren't and the fullbacks weren't going up the pitch. It was not his fault. These things. At the end of the day, they didn't give him the opportunity to even have the ball. Like, Argentina for almost 70 minutes did not even allow France to have the ball anywhere 30 yards from their goal. Like 60 minutes, honestly, 70 minutes. I'm writing a tweet. I'm conducting a tweet going, is this the most dominant World Cup we've ever seen? Like, it is so dominant. It reminded me like the 3-0 win for 98 for France against Brazil. That's what it was reminding me of. Like, it was just crazy. And then that moment, that ball, for the first time, they went direct with that young striker. They went direct with him. And then Otamendi does what Otamendi does, like a granddad holds on to him. It's a penalty, and I don't think anybody can argue that. Next minute, Mbappe steps up, pressure situation. And I always say in football, 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in world football, a 2-0. Because psychologically, when that team get that first goal, the edge, the nervousness comes into the psychology, because football is so much like everything else is in the mind. The Argentinian players got nervous. All of a sudden, the energy levels, all of this virus that everybody was talking about that were happening in the French camp, all of this just went away. All of that just disappeared. And they're energized. And then Rabiot gets the ball. I was thinking, just pass it to feet. He clips it up. And then what happens? He clips it up, and then the ball brilliant 1-2 by two players. Next minute, bang! He volleys that. It spectacularly volleys it. I thought Scaloni, the Argentinian manager, I genuinely did think that he took his foot off the gas. Like, he basically subbed Di Maria. And every time he's done that in this tournament, it's come to bite him in the ass. And I thought, here we go again. Because Di Maria, for me, was the most dominant player for Argentina in that game when he was on the pitch. But Malcolm, welcome to United Real Therapy, man. Big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit that notification button because it lets you know when we're live next, people. But we're going to be talking about Man United, obviously, because the World Cup is over now. We're just reacting to the game. But Malcolm, give us your reaction to that game.
I'm lost for words, really. Like, I don't think there's probably gonna be another final better than that. Like, I don't think we're gonna see another final better than that, really. Like, it's just there was just so much emotion, you know. Honestly, I'm just surprised by the way it started and the way it's, like, just by the way it started and then ended. Like, France did not look like they were going to score, really. Like, it was all Argentina, throughout most of the game. And to me, I think it was just destined for Argentina to win it. Like, you can see that France, gave it their all. Mbappe, always showing up in the big moments. But, just the way the game, went out. It's just, I think it was just destined for Argentina to win it. And to me, this is just the beauty of football. Like, you just never know what's gonna happen. And I think if there was one game that people will say that this is the greatest game that they've ever seen in the history of football, it will be this one. Because you have literally seen the debate end. Like, literally, like the debate is over. Like, no one's gonna be asking, oh, who's the best in the world, who's the GOAT. Like, there's your answer right there. And I don't know, really, it's really, 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 really it's just really incredible to see, like, all the emotions, just everyone's in tears of joy. Wow, like that's just it's really incredible it's really incredible to see what football has come to really. Like this is what football is like. Like this is the feeling. Like this is the sort of feeling that you'll get when you watch football. But yeah,
No,
I
big
think
up, man, big up, 100%. You know what? I don't think it's not to me for 70 minutes. It was quiet. It was quiet, one-sided.
absolutely.
I'm gonna put it in that context. From 78 minutes, it was one-sided. Yeah, Argentina obviously they couldn't sustain the high press. Right, there was gonna be moments that France were gonna come back into the game. There was gonna be, and from the 60, nearly 70th minute, France were pushing, having more possession in the Argentinian half, and you know what, constructing a bit of play. Even like 30, 40 yards out from Argentina's goal. But that ball straight down the middle, that ball that got played to that young striker, I forget his name, by the way. Somebody please remind me his name. That the young striker.
I think it's Munai. I think it's Munai.
Yeah, Munai. Yeah, Munai.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Munai. Yeah.
Mona, yeah.
And then Otamendi does what Otamendi does and grabs him. And then the rest is like history in that moment. From then, we had a game on our hand. 2-2, then it's game on. Extra time was end-to-end. And we appreciated that. But for me, it's not going to be for drama, yes. For pure drama, it's the best World Cup final ever, right? I think this has been one of the best World Cups, right? 100%. I agree with that. Regardless what they say about this and that, like the big, we called them in it. We already called them the moral hypocrisy brigade. They'll say, oh, this and that, like they give a damn about LGBT or LGBTQI plus people, like they give a damn about migrant workers. Like I always tell people, in 15 years in the Mediterranean Sea, 25,000 migrant people fleeing war, people fleeing starvation, drowned in the Mediterranean. So this idea that there's high moral human rights world that we live in, no, we don't. We don't. Every country for themselves. Every country for themselves, and that's what they do. But big up, Logan. We're going to be coming to that, Logan. Big up to everybody. Liedson, man, you said France were going to win. I told you Argentina were going to win, bro. I told you Argentina were going to win the big. Mbappe was trashed in this whole game. Nah, he wasn't trashed.
No.
He better than that. I know you're a bit upset because France lost, but he wasn't trashed because his team, the midfield, the fullback, they couldn't get the ball to him. They couldn't get the ball.
They couldn't. No.
You've got to give it tactically. Scaloni absolutely outwitted Deschamps. He did. They couldn't get the ball to him. As soon as they can get the ball to Mbappe, what happens? Magic starts happening.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that enough. And Argentina's tactic to stop Mbappe, I thought, was brilliant. Was absolutely brilliant. But Mbappe, do you agree with me? I don't think it was the best final overall. I think it was the best game, the best final in terms of drama from 78 minutes. Because before that, it was one-sided.
I think if you look at it as a World Cup final, I've not seen one like that before. It's certainly unique. The drama that it offered was, second to none. I liked the quality of play in the sense of, I think two things I think are important here from my point of view about the game. I alluded obviously to the dark arts and to the personality that Argentina are going to play with. They did come and played 4-3-3. They didn't play 5. What 4-3-3 I thought did, it really narrowed the spaces which France might like to pick up between the lines. So you had effectively 3 lines instead of 2, which you'd have by playing 5 across the back. So I thought Scaloni with that made Argentina very, very compact and very, very good. And you know what? They transitioned well tonight as well, Argentina. And the second thing is, I think as the game grew, France's big boys, there was no service, and that was because of Argentina.
Wow.
They were rushing them. They were aggressive.
They strangled the
And what
midfield. They
they,
strangled. They
they
literally
strangled.
choked them in the middle. They literally had their
Yeah.
arms, their hands around choking them. If that was
And
a
what
UFC
happened?
fight or boxing fight, it would have been called early. See you later. Referee would have had to
And
stop
what,
that.
that's right. And what tends to happen in these games, I think, if we're going to go into like the psychology part of football, in those moments when Argentina are doing that and Mbappe is not really able to get into the game, Giroud's nullified, Dembele didn't have a particularly good evening either. You need certain personalities that I think France would have benefited from in a game like this evening, who are not going to be deterred by the situation or demoralized by the fact that their game plan is nowhere to be seen. They're being dominated and they're 2-0 down. Those personalities are personalities for France, like Karim Benzema, like N'Golo Kante, like Paul Pogba. I think if you have those guys instead of Choumeni, for example, instead of Giroud, instead of a couple of the younger boys as well, these are young lads tonight, that would really have helped them on. But they weren't there. You're only looking really Griezmann is the quality there. I think Dembele is not a personality. Giroud is a very good player, underrated, I feel. I really rate him. But he's not that personality. Mbappe is the cherry on the top of the cake, but Mbappe is the fire that they have. But he is not that personality. He will feed off Benzema being there, off Paul and N'Golo being behind him. So I think they really missed those as well tonight. But that's the best final, I think. If you take everything into consideration, I think I can't remember a better final that I've ever seen in world football.
Now you're absolutely spot on, Babaye. Yeah, I think today just really showed how, France's midfield was very key today. Like, to have players like to have players missing like Pogba and Kante, I think was a very big miss for France because the way Argentina really just nullified on that midfield really like France could not get any balls past the halfway line, and so and I think that was like I feel like that was just Scaloni's main target. You know what I mean? Like he knew that France don't have a very very good midfield, so to me he just got it really spot on today. But as I said again, France just always have a way of getting back in the game, whether they're playing good or not. They always have a way, and today France just had a lot going on for Argentina. Like from minute one to penalties, and to me this just shows that France. I think they can only get better from here. Like, I mean, obviously they didn't play as as good today, but it just shows that the quality over there, man. Like, you can never say to yourself that you're gonna be France until the end. So to me, I think France were just unfortunate to lose the game today, but yeah, they missed a lot of their key players today, but
I thought I don't know what you thought, guys. I thought Camavinga was really good when he came on.
oh yeah, 100%. I think he changed the game, like changed the game absolutely changed the game. I think Coman as well, like on the right hand side, also changed the game as well. I thought he did too.
Also, sure.
Absolutely.
Yo, big up Shane Miassi. He says Kane and Lloris bottled it. Sums up Spurs. Ex-Arsenal goalie at the winning mentality. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to argue with that, to be fair. But you see Shane Miassi, any little silver lining to bring him back to Arsenal, he's got to do it, hasn't he? But you let him go. So, guys, apparently David De Gea might be leaving. You get Martinez, or is it just a World Cup hype? is my.
No, to be fair, Nuruddin, I don't. A lot of people hyped up Costa from Portugal, but he's had a shocking tournament. Let's be honest. With Portugal,
to be fair though,
the
7 games,
mistakes.
a couple of games don't decide your.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
whole
It doesn't
career. He's
decide.
still
It
young.
doesn't
He's still
decide
very young,
anything.
though, isn't
Yeah, yeah, still very young. Martinez. I mean, the only thing I would say is if you're going to go out there and get a goalkeeper, let's get somebody who's won things or somebody who's got some experience, not somebody who we have to develop. In a case, go for somebody of like a Martinez, for example. I don't know how many years we've been linked with somebody like a Jan Oblak, but he's past it now. He's past the age if you can have a future with him. You know, you need to go for the modern styled goalkeeper, don't you? At the end of the day, good with your feet, brilliant. You know, shot stopping. You need the complete keeper nowadays. It's not just about shot stopping anymore. The game's modernized and moved on. The goalkeeper's basically your defender in many cases is your passer of the ball to pick out the channels and the players. And it's just an added bonus that you'd have somebody like Martinez who can actually save penalties at the end of the day. Maybe we've had him a couple of years late. Won the Europa League final a couple of years ago, Ollie. Who knows? But
tell you a good. Sorry, go on, Tom.
No. Go on, Bumby. I'm finished anyway.
If we're talking keepers, obviously we've seen Manchester United before go through a couple of goalkeepers that couldn't quite hack it at Man U. It's a big step up to be.
We went through how many? Forget couple. We went through a lot of goalkeepers.
So with that in mind, well, just putting that aside a second, if we're just talking on what my eyes have been looking at and what I like the look of, I really like Brentford's keeper.
Oh yeah, Jose Raya.
I really like him.
There's the other guy as well at Brighton, isn't there? Sanchez. I don't
I was
mind him
about to
either.
say I was about to say the same thing too. Yeah.
One of them is Argentinian. One of them was there today. Is one of them Argentinian?
No. Reyes Spanish, and I think Sanchez is Colombian. I think.
No, I think Sanchez is Spanish. I think, isn't he?
No, he's Spanish. Either way, anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think either of them are Argentinian or Brazilian or like that. But they come under that education of the goalkeeper, isn't it? It's the modern day of playing. Another point, I think McAllister today, I think he was exceptional.
Oh my
Argentina.
God.
I think if you talk about you're going to pass the number 10 shirt down from Lionel Messi to anybody, I think it should be him, realistically, because the creative lines. Obviously, we can't compare players or anything, but say hello, then go on.
There's Seedorf and Scholesy, both of them sleeping while I'm watching the game. Both of them, honestly, it's too cold for them. It's a bit too cold for them. But guys, please get the likes up. Please get the likes up. Come on, it costs you absolutely nothing to like the video. Liedson, I know you're wounded because you took France to win this World Cup, but you're talking about Mbappe being not that great. Well, how is he supposed to pick up the ball and beat 10 people and put the ball in the net where France had no control of that midfield and that manager watched it and the Deschamps and didn't change it?
I think you take Mbappe out of the France team. There's not too much there, guys. He is the team. Even in the last World Cup, when these two teams met, if you just cast your mind back to how they win the first penalty, from where Mbappe picks that ball up and what he does to win that penalty, he's a phenomenon. This boy, he is the cherry on the top of the cake of this entire squad. And just as a side point, does anybody else, when you look at Martinez, see a criminal? I swear, he's the kind of guy I'd give money to go and cap somebody for me. That guy looks mental.
Did you see what he did with the trophy?
Do I have an echo?
One of you in the background. One of you, please. One of you needs to get off YouTube. Get off YouTube. Because one of you have got me in the background. I can hear myself. Can you turn me off on YouTube, please? Liedson, can you turn me off on YouTube, please? Turn me off. Turn the show off on YouTube, bro.
Yeah. Hold on 1 minute.
Yeah. Listen, big up. There we go. Lilas didn't obviously get the what. Lilas wanted France to win, obviously. And he said, stop talking about the World Cup. Talk for Manchester United. We have a game versus Burnley. Bloody Burnley. Yeah, we do. That's on Wednesday. And we're going to be doing a preview to it on Tuesday night. But we're gonna go on to move to Man United now. We're gonna move on to that. But I just want to get Lee Edson's what he thought about the game, and that's it. And then we move on. Go ahead, Lee Edson. When you're ready, you can go ahead. But guys, seriously, Logan said this. I agree with this. I only scout players during club football. International is lower, and it's not. Listen, it's not. Yeah, international is slower and a level below. It's not a level below. It's slower. But Argentina showed it today. Actually, certain teams in the World Cup can take it up to the levels, and that's what happened for me. Because I thought their tactics, Scaloni, everything he did, I thought it was brilliant.
What do you think to the player who won young player at tournament? What's his name? Edson Fernandez. What do you think to him?
I thought he was brilliant.
Or do you think it's just hype because he's had one tournament?
No, I think he was brilliant. I genuinely think as soon as he came into that team, that Argentina midfield, he added something different dimension to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought today, some people call him the man of the match. Honestly, like he was everywhere. He was
McAllister?
Absolutely everywhere.
No, what about Fernandez?
Every tackle,
Fernandez,
yeah.
okay.
He was absolutely brilliant. And like we said, Ralph Rangnick did talk about him, people, but Man United said no. Edson, give me your match reaction. Obviously, you back France, and I thought tactically,
Got it wrong.
Argentina played the best World Cup final they could have played.
Yeah, like
the French players couldn't put two passes together. The ball kept going out. They kept tripping over themselves. I was just like, what the hell? They choked for 70 minutes. For me, they choked. But go ahead.
yeah, it was like I'm not gonna lie. Lionel, the manager of Argentina, a great manager. I always rated him. Out of this World Cup, I think I'll say like I said it before, this World Cup was a manager's World Cup, and you could clearly see the difference between Lionel and Deschamps. You could clearly see who the fraud is and who is a better coach is or better manager is. The way he set up Argentina to start from one side, go to the middle, then go to wide on the other side, it's complete genius. And he just always took France out. And France had no response, no anything. The France lineup, horrible lineup. Horrible lineup. Like, there's some players that should have played this whole World Cup. This is criminal. Deschamps is just a criminal. Like, he should be arrested. Like, as soon as he lands on a plane, as soon as he lands in France, they just throw him in jail, throw him in the gulag. I don't want to see him ever again, because it doesn't make sense.
Bro, who would you have played that didn't play?
Who would I play? I would have played Camavinga. I would have played Vatu. I would have played actually I would have kept on Tusciani. I would have played Konate. I would have played because I thought Theo. I would have still started Theo, but when I saw that he had a bad game, I would have subbed off Theo right away. Mbappe, I would have kept on Mbappe. I would have subbed off Dembele because he had a bad game, and I would have put on Thuram rather than the other guy. But either or, it doesn't really matter. And then, like, to be honest with you, like on Twitter, I literally said, take off Theo, Robbie, whatever his damn name is. I'm too upset to remember his name. Forget him. And take off Mbappe. I was telling him take off all these, because like for the first 30 minutes, it was all Argentina. And I was like, you need another person in defense, or not even in defense. You need another person in midfield to control either Messi or to control either Enzo. And he just didn't do it. Like, I'm just like, what game is he watching? And then he brought in Opan, and I'm like, why would he bring him in? Like Konate had Konate was a boss in the last game. Why would he bring him in? It's just, to me, like it just shows you the levels of just manager. Like, Deschamps reminds me of Ali. He has his set players that he loves, and he will play them no matter what, even if it's just the wrong players to play. And that's been my one biggest criticism of Deschamps. I just can't wait for Zidane to come in. Like, this would not have happened under the Zuzu. It would be a complete different match.
You're a mute, Norden.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The change that we needed, bring somebody else in midfield. I would have took
100%.
Dembele up in the first half an hour. Dembele comes off for me. Griezmann goes out there, and then
Exactly.
somebody else in midfield because if the problem was midfield, they couldn't get hold of the ball. So bringing in Camavinga or Fofana, maybe Camavinga for me. I would have bought on Camavinga.
I wouldn't even bring in Fofana. To be honest with you, I don't rate Fofana. I would have played Batum over Fofana.
But listen, he's rated Fofana more than Camavinga. But I would have bought Camavinga for me in midfield in that first half an hour. Dembele goes off for me because he was not going to start anything. He wasn't going anywhere. And for me, Scaloni, the only thing that he did wrong that is taking Di Maria off too early because
100%.
Really,
Yep.
that changed and swung because France did not. But to me, when I look at this French squad, everybody tells me they've got position for positions. I'm sorry to say, but Koundé's not a right back. He's
not.
Absolutely woeful. He's not a right back. He's not.
He was not. Like I don't. Like I said, like
and he got twisted in. Di Maria absolutely.
Oh my god, bro! Like don't remind me of that. Like literally for 40-something minutes. Like for 40-something minutes, Di Maria had Koundé on a string. Yeah. Every time, like I've never been so excited. Every time Di Maria touched the ball, I got excited because I love Di Maria. And that's the one thing when me and my coworker always said, Argentina needs Di Maria to come back 100%. As soon as possible. As soon as he came back, Koundé was just on strings, dropping, sliding. I'm like, bro, like do better. Like double up, triple up, something.
Yeah.
Like kick him in his leg. I don't care. Do something.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't know. Like Deschamps, I don't know. Like it's like if I lived in France and I saw Deschamps, I would have to fight him. Because like he lost France that game.
It's his last tournament anyway, isn't it? Let's be honest. We all know.
Yeah, I know.
We all know Zidane's.
No matter what. But here's the thing, though, Tom. No matter what, this should be his last tournament.
Oh, wait,
because for 65,
if he would have won, lost, anything,
even if it's his last tournament. No, I know. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, no matter what, the France FA should have called him after the 65-minute and said, "You are fired," because 0 shots on target or even attempted by France for 65 minutes. That is total dominance by Argentina for 65 minutes. I've never been so upset. I was so upset I couldn't even talk watching this match. I was just glaring at the screen. Every time it showed Deschamps, I just wanted to throw something at it.
Actually, the penalty was the first shot France had
on target. Exactly. And that was in the 65th minute.
And that's why, for me, I'm saying from then onwards, it became a great game and drama. It's
100%. I agree with you.
The World Cup final, for me, it's the best drama in the World Cup final, but it's not the best because Argentina was so dominant. It was unbelievable. Honestly, it was unbelievable how dominant they were. But listen, we're going to move on, but big up everybody. It's 156 of you watching. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Obviously, Leachers won it, even though he didn't get on the pitch. Apparently, he might be carrying an injury as well. I was hearing some rumors that's why Scaloni didn't even put him on the pitch. But it looked like he was fine the way he was running around. But Varane could be injured. Go figure.
Oh, yeah.
Played more games this season for France than he has for Man United. That just tells you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Or maybe they're saying that he's injured to give him like extra time off to recoup more. But I don't know, because when I saw that match, I didn't think he was injured, in my opinion. But like I know he fell, but like I thought he fell out of tiredness more than injury.
Yeah, listen, big up Jarvis. Scholesy, those are the greatest of World Cup. Scholesy's like, yeah, champion Argentina. Scholesy was cheering for Argentina to be fair.
All right, Nerdin, I'm gonna let you go. I gotta go pick up this food. Like I'm hungry, I'm tired, and
no worries, bro.
I hate this World Cup.
No worries. The other finals, bro. Head up. Commiserations.
But to be honest,
Jarvis Cocker said Argentina did a great tactical job attacking France's biggest weakness. Di Maria was brilliant in the channels behind Mbappe. Argentina exploited a lazy pressing and a poor defensive instincts. Actually, it's really interesting. He didn't attack where Mbappe was. They attacked the other side. He was on Koundé's side. He wasn't on Theo Hernandez's side. But yeah, it was crazy. They were like, okay, we think your left back is weakness. We think your right back is even far more of a weakness. And we're gonna attack him. And they attacked him and did a great job. Listen, big up to every one of you. let's get into the different comments now. But I'll say for me, it was the best World Cup final drama, the best comeback in terms of like from 78 minutes, it became competitive. As soon as that penalty goes in, it becomes competitive. But before that, it was absolute snooze draw because it was the perfect job by Argentina. A masterclass in tactics, masterclass in pressing, masterclass in aggression and intensity, and wanting it so much. And I put a tweet out, people. A lot of people are upset because I know that maybe people who follow me are French fans. They all came for me. I put the tweet out before the game and I said, I just can't see Messi losing this because the way that Argentinian players are going to leave everything on that pitch for Messi to win this World Cup. And that's what it's been. That's why I tipped them to win the tournament. I tipped them to win it because I saw it. I stayed up late night, people, to watch the Copa America, and I saw the aggression and intensity which they played with. Even though it was lockdown, there was no fans in the stadium. The Copa America was supposed to be hosted in Argentina, and then they couldn't guarantee certain things about the COVID protocols, and then it was moved to Brazil, and then Argentina go and win it in the Maracanã. So from then, that's when I started to believe. I was like, yo, this, because I know the Copa America is tough. People think, it's a Copa America. No, it is competitive.
Tough.
Argentina had to beat Colombia on penalties to go through. Messi before that, 3 finals. This is one of the greatest players of his generation. Lost 3 finals in the Copa America finals. 3 finals Argentina went to and he lost. So when people don't look at that, when I looked at that, I thought, wow. They don't beat Colombia on penalties, go to Maracanã, beat Brazil in Brazil.
You know, I remember when they lost to Chile, the Copa America final back in 2016 on penalties, and I think that was probably one of the most heartbreaking moments that probably Argentina fans will ever remember, because I think Messi was like the third player to take the penalty, and he skied it, and just to see him crying, or just to see his reaction after he missed the penalty, like you just knew that Argentina were like you just knew how much that meant to him. Just to to miss that penalty, like that's like literally like that's literally like your whole career missed. So
listen, he's got every trophy now. Mundo, big up Mundo. Welcome to the stream, bro. Quickly, match reaction. What did you think about that? What did you think about that game? Are you there, Mundo? Might be having some technical issues, but listen, we'll talk about it. We'll come back to Mundo's match reaction. But let's talk about Man United, people. Let's talk about Man United. So, as of yesterday, Tom, news was breaking that Manchester United, the BBC, and the Manchester Evening News, what used to be a great newspaper back in the day, now it's just a writing page, right? With some absolute muppet racist guys who are basically who are running it. But big up Mundo. Mundo, quickly, I go to you. Tell me about your match reaction. People are saying it was the best World Cup final. I don't think it was. I think from the 78th minute, it became a competitive game. Before that, it was a one-way ticket. What did you think about that? Are you there, Mundo? Hello, Mundo, are you there? Mundo, hello? We can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Mundo, we can hear you.
Jump out and jump back in.
Go ahead, Tom. Listen. So the news that was yesterday was Bellingham and Frankie de Jong, and I'm just like, how much more are the Glazers going to embarrass his fan base? It's humiliation. It's borderline humiliation. Tell me what you think about this links to Frankie de Jong. Man United going back for Frankie de Jong and Jude Bellingham. Both of them literally humiliated Manchester United and our fan base by denying us in spectacular fashion, but all of a sudden we're back in for them. What does that tell you?
Tells you that they don't learn from the past, do they, at the end of the day? All I'm going to say is this. When one player says no, that's it. And with Manchester United, I think it needs to go back to the old-fashioned way of you have one offer, you take it or leave it. If you take it, you play for Manchester United. If you don't take it, then your offer's gone. Your offer's expired. It's done. Hasta la vista, and that's it. At the end of the day, Bellingham had his chance, came as a young kid, had the opportunity to come in. You rolled the red carpet out of him, so Alex Ferguson, David Gill. You rolled basically the history book to him and his family at Carrington Training Ground, and he didn't want to stay. And he didn't want to come. So at the end of the day, chapter closed.
Yeah.
He's had his offer. He's had his chance. Didn't take it. Move on. There's more elite operators out there. Same with Frankie de Jong. The time to get Frankie de Jong was a couple of years ago, 2018, 2019. That was the time to go and get him after that season with Ajax. Him, Donny van de Beek, those midfielders. That was the time to go and get them. You're getting a player now who's had frailty at another football club, and who hasn't succeeded or excelled massively at his time there. And you're going to be paying over the odds for either of these two players. But you've just seen tonight, for example, two midfielders in the Argentinian squad. Enzo Fernandez, for example, who Ralph Rangnick recommended to the board for, you'd get him for peanuts, wouldn't you? 30, 40 million. Alexis McAllister at Brighton. He's been sat there for 3 years. You could have gone and got if you actually had proper scouting networks, or you actually listen to the scouts who operate the football club. But you don't. And at the end of the day, all it tells you is that John Murtough, these guys, Richard Allen, they have one plan, and that's the name. They've got to have a big name. Bellingham's the big young superstar out there at the moment. Is the hot property, isn't it, of English football? You've then got Frankie de Jong, who was that of Dutch football a couple of years ago. But now you look at it and you think, right, what is all the hype about? Because these price tags are £100 million minimum for Jude Bellingham, minimum £100 million. Frankie de Jong, the price tag was about €85 million, 90 million last summer.
Yeah, big up.
Do you really want to pay that much money? Probably
exactly.
not.
To me, it's embarrassing because both players do not want to come anywhere near Man United. But Mundo, quickly, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Yeah. Big up, Mundo. Big up. Listen, quickly, your match reaction. People are calling it. People are getting big giddy saying it's the best World Cup final ever. I think it was the best World Cup final up to a certain point. From the 78th minute, it became when the penalty got awarded. Then it became a competitive game. But before that, it was one way. It was one-way traffic. It was one team that dominated tactically, intense in terms of intense and aggression, pressing, like literally strangled the French team. So, what did you think about that? How did you see it?
In terms of, I mean, I have to be honest. I haven't been impressed with the quality of the football in this World Cup. But having said that, it has been very entertaining. So I think the final was low on quality, but it was an entertaining game because it had everything. You had goals, you had penalties, but if you're a footballing purist and you sit down and you look at that game, you'd be like, the defending was atrocious. People were missing chances, chance. That Kawani kid, Colo, the winger, he missed so many opportunities. So the football itself, if you're talking about football, wasn't great.
So were you not impressed with Argentina, the second goal, the way they constructed the second goal, the chances that they were making?
It was so fast. That goal and Mbappe's goal was fantastic, and I think the way that for me the finish was great, but I think even if you take it back a phase, I think that the way that he rose and won that header and cushioned it, and then made them run off the ball was unbelievable. That's like unbelievable build-up play. So that for me was a great goal.
But for 70 minutes, it was a one-sided game. Or am I the only one that was watching that? Because I thought for 70 minutes, it was one-sided game.
But France have been terrible the whole tournament. This is the thing. This is what France do. They play in
not like that, Mundo.
This was the worst performance by far. But they do play in.
They couldn't even construct two passes together. The ball kept going out. They couldn't even control the ball. Some of them, they couldn't control the ball. But anyway, I'm going to stay with you with this second question, Mundo, because I wanted to get your quick. I personally think the days of seeing spectacular, amazing skills by number 10s or amazing players are over. Those days are over for me, right? Football now is a team. And nobody typified more as hanging in there, battling for every ball, for everything, this Argentina team. That's why I tipped them from day one, Mundo. Even though I tipped them from day one because I saw what they did in the Copa America. I've seen what it's begun. And to be fair, France were the same in 2018. France were very hard to beat, counter-attacking, mid to low block, hitting you on the counter on the break quickly. That's what they were with Griezmann and Mbappe. So, to me, no attacking team. The last attacking team to win a tournament were Italy. I thought Italy from game one till the last game when they played England in the Wembley at the final, they were an attacking team. Like the way they constructed, they were very much attacking team. They wanted to play football. So that's what we are. But I'll stay with you. Obviously, last night, social media goes crazy. Simon Stone on the BBC, Samuel Racist Lockers of the Even News. Both of them are getting briefed by the Glazers or Neil Ashton. The Glazers handler, Neil Ashton, is basically getting it out there, representing the Glazers. And all of a sudden, we are linked with two of the most sought after players in world football. Two of them who spectacularly denied Man United. So why are the Glazers and Neil Ashton, why are they embarrassing the fans again? These two said no to us in the most spectacular of fashions. No, we don't want to leave Barcelona. No. Thank you, Cantona. Thank you, Sir Alex Ferguson. Thank you, Brian Robson. But I don't want to come and play for Man United. I'm going to go and play first team football in Dortmund and become one of the best potential young midfielders in the world. Which was right. I agree with Bellingham not coming to us. Because can you imagine he would have come to that absolute hell of a season? It could have potentially ruined him as a young footballer. But go ahead.
I want to, and this is very rare for me, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. The reason I'm saying that is because surely they do not think that this fan base is stupid enough to think that we have, never mind that whether or not the players want to come, that we even have the money to buy them. So I don't know if it's because there's some deal in the pipeline where we're getting some owners and they want to make these marquee £100 million plus signings. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping, that this is being briefed out there because not because of the Glazers, but because of the incoming. Yeah, they want to curry favour with the fans. They want to get us on side. So that's why they're coming in saying we're going to sign X, Y, and Z. But they can't do it publicly because with these types of deals, obviously it has to be announced to the market first. So if it's official, which it probably isn't yet, then they have to go to the market first. They have to on the stock exchange and all that kind of bullshit. So part of me is thinking it has to be that. Otherwise, it's like Glazers. The Glazers have gone level 10 with their briefings. If they actually think the fan base are going to swallow that we're going to even try and attempt to buy those players under their ownership, because they're talking about £200 million plus.
To be fair, I think they're talking
money.
about them both in the summer. They're talking about them both in the summer. That's what they're talking about. But
so they might be trying to temper our expectations for the. But they're midfielders. We don't need we do need midfielders, but it's not a priority area of the team. We need a striker. We need a centre forward. Like, that's the most pressing area that we need to address. The centre forward. Why are we even talking about midfielders? Get me a fucking centre forward and get me a right back before you even start talking about midfielders. I do.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Big up Logan. Big up Alex Nurin. What will you talk about the Ornstein Avram in Qatar for the sale? Well, they're talking about investors, bro. He said investors. He didn't say for the sale. To me, the main thing is the invest. That's what they're looking for. But of course, why is Avram Glazer in Qatar? Not like he loves football. I don't think he loves football. You know what I mean? He don't give a damn about football. But Mundo, I don't put anything past the Glazers. But to me, there's something must be going on that for them to come out and Simon Stone's getting a briefing and Samuel racist Lucas is getting a briefing. And by the way, the why he's racist is because he compared black and mixed race footballers to call them exotic, like black or mixed heritage footballers are some plant or some food. That's why I always have to premise Samuel racist Lucas. And when I see him, I've seen him once outside Old Trafford. If I see him, I'll let him know. 100% let him know why I think of that. But I'll come to you, Bumbaye. This, to me, why are you embarrassing the fan base? Why are you embarrassing the fan base? Jude said, no, thank you. You rolled out the red carpet for him. Frankie de Jong went, I don't care. I'm staying at Barca. Why do you think they're doing this? Why?
I mean, the first thing I'd say is we're always linked with everybody. And in the eventuality that the transfer market is open.
But listen, this specific one, let me just tell you something, right? This is specific. So this is not us being linked. So if there was some newspapers, yeah, if it came from some guy who some IDK Twitter account, everybody will just laugh at it. United fans will laugh at it. We're used to that. We are absolutely used to that. This came from, when Simon Stone of the BBC writes an article, it's come from highest up, the highest levels of Man United to be briefed, right? And that's what's happening with Samuel Lucas as well. If they got briefed, the club is putting it out there to those two journalists. So it's not what we're speculation. It's those two players specifically. Man United are going in for Frankie de Jong and they want Jude Bellingham.
Yeah,
so this is not used for speculation. It's not.
Well, this is such an ongoing theme that the best thing to do with this sort of thing, well, what I do anyway is just take it all with a pinch of salt. If you're asking me as a fan about these two players and what's gone before we reach this point by wanting to buy them, the first thing I'd say is there's actually three players that we should be trying to buy. Declan Rice is the third one, in my opinion. I think a striker, as Mundo said, is the key, but a midfielder, it's no secret that we really did try hard to get Frankie de Jong, but it was very difficult to deal with Barcelona, who kept shifting the goalposts. And the fact that he doesn't want to come...
Let me stop you there. I actually think it's the other way around. Barcelona accepted the bid from Manchester United. Frankie de Jong did not want to come to Man United. That we have to say that for the record.
I just remember we settled on a price, and then we had the problem with the wages that were an additional 17 million. And then Barcelona reneged on the initial agreement and said, you're going to have to pick up this tab also because we're not prepared to pay him. That's what I mean by shifting the goalposts. And I think it's unfair to just go and throw another 17 million pounds because you don't want to pay him back wages. So I understand why we didn't get him.
Can I just say something? I actually think it's against the law for Man United to do that anyway. Unless Man United then did an inflated
that answers that.
Overpaying. Man United should
fair enough.
Listen, contractually, Man United, and you know what? UEFA and that would have seen it, FIFA and that would have seen that. The Man United, so Barcelona 1 minute accept something like 80-something million, or something like 70-something million, right? Euros. And the next minute, Man United are now done paying another 17 million. The same things that got Juventus in trouble would have got Man United in trouble. So Man United would never 17 million.
I mean, a deal isn't done until monies are exchanged and contracts are signed. Deals were done in principle and it was played out in the media. We had an agreement. And then I don't know if you want to dispute the fact that there was a pause and then there was an additional large amount of money that were back wages that were put on the table that we had to settle that bill. On that basis, I understand why they said, no, forget it. And the player doesn't want to come. So Frankie de Jong, to me, there's no sense in buying a player, even for free, if he's not wanting to play for the team and he'd prefer to stay where he is, even though with us, he will have a better platform in the sense that he will be a focal point of the team. Our adoration will be his if he wants it, whereas there he seems to be, it's not smooth sailing as I think it would be here. However, I think Jude Bellingham, I hold no grudges whatsoever. He was a young boy. He came to Old Trafford. We introduced him to it. But I think a person, it's not like he says, I never want to play for you, or I don't want to be here, or I won't consider playing for us. It was, I'm young. I'm at Birmingham. He saw what Sancho did. He's gone to Dortmund, which has been a very good move, a right move. He's developed a lot as a player. He's actually one of the best midfielders in the world, I think. And had he gotten to the semi-finals of this tournament, he'd be in the team of the tournament, I think, instead of Chouameni, personally. I think Jude Bellingham, we should move heaven and hell to try and get him. He's a complete number 8. He's got everything, absolutely everything to his game, and he will complement anybody that you put next to him. He's a major step up, and whoever gets him, it will be a hell of a coup. And I'd pay 90 million, I'd pay 100 million for him all day long. I think Declan Rice is a fantastic character, very low maintenance as a human being, as a player, from what I've seen. And I was really, really, really impressed. There was a girl that used to come onto this podcast, man. She was studying law. I can't remember her name. And she spoke to me about Declan Rice. I wasn't convinced.
Oh,
that's
Rachel,
the one.
Rachel, that was
yeah. That's it. Big up, Rachel. So we had a phone conversation, and she was taking me through the Declan Rice that at that time I wasn't sure about. What Declan Rice is. Declan Rice, I think, is going to show even more than what we've been seeing from him. And I think Declan Rice is a player whose value we will understand when he leaves West Ham. I think his first touch is immaculate. His first touch is one of his best qualities. It sets him up to actually use the momentum of the ball against the opposition and get out of very tight spaces. He's got an engine like no other. He drives that ball. He can play forward passes. He's another natural up and down number 8 with real quality about him. And in terms of defensive cover, Casemiro won't last forever. This is a really good investment for the future. He's excellent at reading the game. So I've no qualms with Jude Bellingham. Do what you need to do to get him if it's real. Declan Rice the same. Frankie de Jong, to be honest with you, now that I look at Declan Rice and I look at Jude Bellingham, he's not an absolute must unless Eric Ten Hag says so. I'll take any one of those 3 or any combination of 2, including Frankie. But the problem with Frankie is if he doesn't want to come, forget him. There's other people out there. You move past that. You don't want to beg somebody. End of the day, we are Man United. And hopefully Eric Ten Hag will act with some integrity and self-respect in that regard.
Yeah, big up. I go to Malcolm. Malcolm, why do you think the Glazers are doing what they're doing? Embarrassing the fan base.
To me, like, there are a lot of people, in our families that, tend to believe a lot in the PR. And to me, that's what the Glazers have been doing for, quite some time now. Like, they'll put in something, for, these older media journalists to say. And then once it goes out, everyone's going to start to believe it. And then everyone's going to be like, oh my God, we're getting into this player. We're getting into that player. Oh my God, if we get this player, we're going to, like, come on. Like, honestly, like, this is the thing with me, right? When it comes to the Glazers, I never believe anything they say because I know at the end of the day, it's not going to become any valid. Like, it's not going to become valid. Like whatever comes out from them, it's just all PR. Like, it's just something. It's just whatever comes out, just something just to paper off the cracks so that they can collect revenue. But to me, I'm not surprised that the Glazers have done this, and that's why I'm saying that if you do get actual owners, I don't think they're going to be footballing people. But yeah, as I said again, like, it's just all PR, and it's just sad that we have people in our fan base that tend to believe it. But
yeah, big up. Listen, big up, Malcolm. Listen, France were unlucky today. It wasn't for Colos. Listen, it wasn't. France were not unlucky. I'm sorry. It was a great save by. If you're talking about the young striker that went through, it was a great save by Martinez. Brilliant save. France were not unlucky. France got absolutely torn a new one for 70 odd minutes. They got absolutely bullied. They couldn't even put two passes together. And I think Argentina got tired. And when they took off Di Maria, the game changed. But big up Logan. Logan says there is skepticism from some people in the financial world that Arabian Gulf nation would be interested in buying into a club at such a high price. Well, that's interesting because I personally believe, and I'll come to you, Mundo, the reason why they're putting 6-7 billion on is I genuinely don't think they want to sell the club. I think they want investors. They want people to give them 40%, but to give them some sort of money for not controlling. The Glazers still want to control Man United. I genuinely believe that. And that's why it's because at the moment we're valued. The current market value for Man United is 3,075 million. 375. That's what it is. Billion. That's what it is. Right? For them to ask for, it's ridiculous in any time for me. It's absolutely ridiculous. But go ahead, Mundo. For me, I'm not going to believe any of these things. Einstein can write 100 different articles. I'm not. Until the people who want to buy Man United come out and the Glazers accept, then I'm not going to believe in anything. Because I'm not getting sucked in by the Glazers when they're playing games and embarrassing the fan base like they're doing now with Jude Bellingham and bloody Frankie de Jong. Two players who spectacularly do not want to come to Man United. They do not. Man United will be 20th, 30th choice clubs to go to for those guys. They've got about 20 other clubs to go to if they want to be successful, where there's stability. But go ahead, Mundo.
No, I do agree with you 100%. I don't think it's all of the Glazers. So what I think, and this has been my theory from the beginning. There's two Glazers in particular that are problematic. Avi and Joel, right? Those two fuckers are the ones that create all the issues at Man United.
Yeah.
As a co-chairman and whatever, right? I think that the rest of the Glazers and other board members would happily sell Man United. It's not lost on me that the guys running around trying to get investment at Avery and Joel because they don't want to sell, right? Those two do not want to sell, but I feel that they're being pushed into a corner. They've been backed into a corner because financially Man United are on the ropes. We don't have any liquidity. We've got assets, but we don't have any liquidity. We don't have any cash flow because we made losses for the last however many years, haven't we, over COVID and everything else. They went big in the summer transfer, which they weren't window, which they weren't planning on doing. So they've overstretched themselves to the max. So I think inevitably they will have to sell. They will have to sell. But those two, that's why they're coming out with this ridiculous valuation because those two in particular, because they want to hang on. They're like, okay, if we're going to cash in, we're going to cash in and we're going to make a killing. So, because I think that, but for those two, the Glazers probably would have cashed in earlier than what they're doing now. But those two fuckers. But the problem is that they're the most senior ones and they're the ones at the head of the table. So it's a problem. It doesn't matter what the rest of them want to do if those two fuckers don't, accept that now is the time for them to sell, right? The club needs to be sold. We need investment in the infrastructure. We need a clear out of the squad. We need to rebuild behind the scenes. It's a massive job. But I think because they are megalomaniacs, these guys, they think that Man United is a great brand. It's the biggest brand, one of the biggest sports brands in the world. And even in general brands, it's huge and it has a lot of value. But everything has a ceiling, right? Everything has a ceiling, especially when you are not investing. So if you're not investing to improve your product, then your product's going to hit a ceiling. And they haven't got the money to invest. They can't take this project any further. They need to just bugger off. Right. So, but at the same time, they have to be realistic. Now, there might have to be some hardships. There might have to be like bank involvement. Like we might need to hit rock bottom to get these guys out. Unfortunately, we talked about it in the past about would we accept Man United getting relegated to get rid of these guys? And we said we would. But I think that even that wouldn't get rid of them. I think there needs to be some significant financial like hit.
No, we're $1 billion in debt already. We're $1 billion in debt. Man United, if you add everything together, the amount of money on transfers that we own,
We owe 300 million. We owe 300 million pounds. Like,
yeah. To be fair, a lot of clubs own some 200, some of them, but I won't think too far. But it's the other debt that's been there for 17 years. That's the problem. Bumbaye, quickly, I'm gonna come to you. I'm not gonna believe it, me personally, until they do it, because I've been here, bad. And the Glazers play Man United fans. They don't give a damn. So where did this? I personally believe the 6 billion, 7 billion is the biggest hilarious thing ever. So the club that's in $1 billion in debt, right? $1 billion in debt, right? Already, and then they're gonna spend another $1.5 billion on a stadium, and then we're gonna need and maybe 200, 300 million on a training ground infrastructure. So, I mean, to me, it just doesn't sit right with me. Do you agree with Mundo that these two do not want to let Man United go, the two brothers, Abraham and Joe?
You know, I try and travel light, man, generally. I think I will agree with the very first thing you said, which is what I do anyway. These discussions, whatever I say, I know I don't really have, my voice is impotent. Are they going to sell? Are they not going to sell? Are they perhaps thinking an outright sell? Are they prospecting for investors? And what they're going to do by maybe signing another player is, saying, look, we're going places. We've got this new great player, get on board, invest. It's going to go good. Could be doing that. I'm not really sure. What I tend to go off when I look at valuation is I ask myself, what did Chelsea Football Club go for? What did Todd Bowley pay for them? Does anybody know? I remember about 3 to 4 billion.
Yeah, no, it was. I think they actually paid 2.5 with a promise to spend 1.5
or 2 billion almost,
or 2 billion over like 10 years or something.
Yeah, with a new stadium as well. The new stadium.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's promise of investment. So they actually only played. Roman 2.5 billion or something.
And listen, and that was specific, by the way, because you have to be quick there because Chelsea were going to go under, and also they signed the anti-Glazer clause in that. What means for a decade they can't take any dividends out. But go ahead, Bumbaye.
I mean, if it's a quick fire sale, then that suggests that Roman Abramovich has simply accepted a price which perhaps is undervaluing the club because he wants to get something and leave. That situation, I'd say there's potential for it being, look, okay, I'll take that, better than a kick in the teeth. Let's get this done, 2.5 billion. I've made profit. I will leave, take it. I think Manchester United are, a Goliath compared to Chelsea in every sphere of commerce in football. So I'm not sure what I'd value Man United at. Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it closer to 6?
At the moment, listen, the market doesn't lie. The market does not lie. I'm sorry, but the market does not lie at this moment in time. It doesn't.
No, I'm not telling you I know. I'm just telling you I'm trying to.
Let me finish. The state of the stadium, the state of the training ground, the state of the debt that Man United Football Club has, 4 billion, around 4 billion is the market current value. That's what the market dictates. And also the squad and the fact that Man United have not won a trophy in 5 years. Man United are not regulars in the Champions League. So that's the reason why the market is valuing Man United at 4 billion. I just wanted to give you.
But if I was selling Manchester United and took on board what you say, I could say to potential buyers, this is our worth, and this is our position at the top of many commercial facets of this business in football. And we haven't actually won anything. Can you imagine if we start to win what you could actually do potentially with your revenue streams, your profit and loss balance sheet?
If I was playing devil's advocate and I was the buyer, my argument would be, well,
why didn't you do it?
Get this club to win, I'm going to have to invest a billion, 2 billion into the infrastructure on the playing squad for me to even be competitive. So that's £2 million, 2 billion that I'm knocking off. It's like if you buy a house and the roof's falling off, you'd be like, I'm going to negotiate here because there's no roof on this house. You know, Man United haven't got a roof. Our
But
stadium
don't
is
forget,
falling apart. Our training ground is horrendous.
Let me just get this super
Everybody
chat.
needs
1
massive
second.
investment.
Let me just get this super chat. It's a sales structure. Caleb, I don't believe it. But go ahead, Mumbai. Reply to Mundo.
yeah, I think the analogy of the house is missing one dynamic, which is a house. Look, you could potentially extend this house, but what's happening with Manchester United? They don't have a roof, but yet their profits and their popularity and the commercial facets of the football world are through the roof. They're breaking records, and they haven't won anything. So
No.
he would be
Let me
telling,
correct you. Please let me correct you, Mumbai, because I have to do the corrections, brother. Honestly.
yeah, sure.
I don't mean
Go
to
ahead,
put
man.
you off. Man United,
No,
the drop has been, in terms of revenue, Man United have been making. Man United have been rinsed. They've rinsed everything in terms of it's been 27 to 30% drop in terms of revenue. And this was the famous words of Ed Woodward. Man United don't have to win leagues or Champions Leagues to make money.
Sure.
Well, that
Yeah.
only can take you so much. But now you have to. For Man United to be successful, you have to win things on the trophy. And now TeamViewer, which our main sponsor, have literally said now with they've dropped Man United. They're like, no, thank you. They had to negotiate like that. We don't want to be paying that money for a club that's not even anywhere coming any close for the top, even in the best 4 teams in the country.
I'm not gonna. I'm not
What
talking
you're
as
saying
if.
is that, listen, I agree what you're saying. It's the potential for you to spend 2 billion to make loads of money.
Yeah, it's
That's a
it's like,
potential.
look,
Listen,
if
that's
you're
a
buying,
potential. The Glazers, to me, Glazers didn't do it themselves. They didn't do it. They went the
look,
other
it's
way.
like
They
what I'm
rinsed
saying is,
and now,
I
like
get
Mundo
that,
said, the
but
roof is falling apart. But let me just get this super chat.
no,
They don't want to sell, but they have to sell. Well, I don't know about it. I think the 6-7 billion is absolutely laughable. I can
look,
see
the thing is,
to 5 billion. 5 billion at the most. And that's a
bro,
generous
look,
offer. 5 billion. Not 6 or 7. No effing way is anybody buying for
Not
that.
even 5.
Because of
We're
what's
not even
happening.
going 5.
But go ahead.
I think, look, there are, when we're discussing these things, another thing is we are completely taking stabs in the dark, trying to make some sort of sense and trying to take snippets of here, sound bites from here, quotes from here. Is this person credible? Trying to get a picture. The reality is nobody really knows. I think the Glazers own this commodity called Manchester United. They could be trying to sell it outright if you are willing to match their price. Some people, when it comes to sell, look, I know it might not be worth that, but that's what it's worth to me. How bad do you want it? Sometimes you buy something, you know it's not worth it, but what makes you pay for it is how much you want it. That's number one. Number two, some people will be looking at this and, they'll sit at a negotiation table. Well, look, this is the kind of things that the stadium needs doing to it, stuff like that. They'll come to that. Maybe they don't want to sell it, but they want to use somebody else's money to maximize it. That's another option. I mean, there's lots of options, but ultimately, usually I'm not the guy to discuss these types of things because honestly, I still don't even know what Richard Arnold looks like. And that's I only know that name because of you. And I know the name Ed Woodward. I know what he looks like. But other than that, I just focus on the pitch. And when the Glazers say, if the Glazers come out and they quote and say, look, we want to buy Jude Bellingham, all I do is and say, okay, fine. If this is, if there's no substance, then it's just to appease the fans. If this sell and we're going to sell is just to appease the fans, ultimately at a certain point, if they say we're getting Bellingham and then they signed, some other third-rate player, then they will be held to account. They will feel the wrath of the fans and hopefully the manager as well.
Ali Boumaier, let me just come back to you on that point you made about the
Quickly, and then we'll go to Malcolm.
If you want it so badly that what are you prepared to pay for it? I don't think that this is that situation. I think the situation is that they have to sell. It's not a situation where they've got an asset that they don't have to sell. They could keep for the next 2 or 3 decades. And if you want to buy it from me, then you're going to have to pay like 3-4 times the market price. These guys have they've run the club so much into the ground that they put themselves in a situation where they have to sell. They have to either get some form of investment, which isn't coming at the moment, or they've got to sell it. That's the only option. So if I'm the buyer, I'm like, mate, you've got to sell, otherwise the bank's coming in here. So I'm going to give you what I think it's worth. I'm not even
Every reality will have a reaction. If, as a buyer, you know this person is bleeding, then you can pull his teeth a little bit. If that's the case, and if we'd like to think that that is the case unanimously as fans, in that we will hopefully get
That's
this
what the
ownership.
finances are saying. The finances suggest that that's the case. That they have
And
to
here, big up Clinton. Clinton said Madrid is valued at 2.9. We were valued at 2.5. Just came out about a week ago. We're taking a lot. We are taking a loss of 230 billion over the last 3 years. But I'll quickly go to Malcolm. Malcolm, to me, it's delusional. We did a show about it the other night. I said 6-7 billion for Man United is delusional, regardless what the potential is. And by the way, Bumbaye, this is not speculation. That's what the Glazers are briefing to every journalist who wants to listen to them. They're saying to them, Man United are for sale. We'll consider a sale, a full sale, if it's any price in the region, 6 to 7 billion. That's what they're telling. So it's not speculation. It's not what fans are talking about. It's not what this is what the Glazers are saying to their crony journalists out there in the world. They're telling every one of them, 6 to 7 billion, we might consider. That's what the words they're using. Consider.
So they're advertising. So basically, they're advertising their position. We could say that's the price that we would. That's what we want for this club. Other than that, we're not willing to talk. But what we're saying is, no, their reality is that they are bleeding and they need to sell. This, we will have to wait and see. I'm not sure. Each one of those scenarios brings a different approach from a buyer. But, I mean, all this shit is over my head anyway. I just want Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice. You know what I'm saying?
No, big up anyway. Go ahead, Malcolm.
To me, if you're asking... if you're asking for 6 or 7 billion to buy a football club, then that just basically means that you basically think that it's not for sale. Like, really, to buy a football club, it should be like at least 4 to 5 million at most. Other than that, I can't pay more than that. Like, if I'm trying to buy Manchester United, then I'm sorry, but I can't buy more than that. And to me, I think the Glazers are, I think they're trying to solidify, their position as, the owners, of the football club. And I think they know that they have to sell, but I think they're trying to avoid that. They're trying to avoid that situation to the point where, they're losing money and they actually need to, sell. But I think they're just trying to, break the rules and trying to like kind of just, stay in that, position of, we own we have the money, we own this club. No one else can have, like no one else can have the share in it. So to me, if the Glazers are willing to sell, I think we just have to wait and see. Really, like, it's gonna be interesting to see, what happens in January. But for now, I think the Glazers are, if they're still, they're still the owners, and I don't think they're gonna be, I don't think there's gonna be, much more of a change or like. You just have to wait and see. Really, I don't know what else the chat feels about it. But
let me just give you one more possibility. I think Malcolm makes a good point. What you could be saying with if this is a ridiculous valuation is it's not for sale unless you are willing to give us an unbelievable offer that we can't refuse. So that's what this is. Any person in business, is going to look at this from a business point of view. If it is completely, inflated price and think, no, forget it. These people are not serious. They don't want to do business. But what that does do is it says, look, we believe this is what Manchester United are worth. This is the potential of Manchester United. going forward. This is the work that we've done commercially. Yeah, we've not reinvested it in the club, but this is what we believe this club is worth. And it is basically saying to the fans, you could see it as, well, it is up for sale, but nobody wants to buy it. So you can appease the fans with that. It's like putting Paul Pogba up for sale, let's say, for, I don't know, £200 million. He's for sale, but nobody's coming in for him. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, 100%, 100%. I understand what you're saying. And big up Kleb. Kleb says they will sell for 4 to 5 billion. 67 billion is to get a bidding war going. Yeah, that could be it. That could be it.
And also, we're talking about whoever's going to buy this club, right? They operate in a different sphere to what we operate in. The majority of the human beings on this bloody planet operate in, right? Because they're billionaires, so they're a minority, and the way they operate is unlike anybody else operates. So their thinking is going to be, we're trying to think how they would think, and I don't think they're going to think, oh, Man United are this. What they're going to think about, what is my return on investment, right? I don't give a damn unless it's Arab money. If it's someone like a US consortium or something, their primary concern is what is my return on investment, right? And they're going to look at other clubs. They're going to look at Real Madrid, who've won 13 Champions Leagues, 14 Champions Leagues, however, right? They've been winning left, right, and centre. They've invested in their squad. They've got a brand new stadium, right? Or they've upgraded their Bernabeu, right? And their training facilities and all the rest of it. And they're going to look at that. That's the yardstick, right? They're number one. Barcelona is number two. We're number three in terms of value, brand value. They're going to look at that and say, how much would it cost me to buy Real Madrid? And if it's not costing them 7 billion, they're not paying 7 billion for Man United. They're not, right? Man United are not worth 7 billion pounds on any planet. They're not worth 7 billion pounds. That is a nonsensical valuation. So yeah. I think personally that they don't want to sell, so that's one of the reasons why they've got this crazy valuation. But secondly, it also allows them to buy time, right? Because they think no one sensible is going to come in with that amount of money. So whilst, even though we have to sell, we can delay the process and try and find investment, because that's ultimately what they want. They want investment so they can keep power. But
tell you what.
They're not going to get that.
Alex, can I come back at that point and just say, listen, we're going to need to wrap up in the next couple of minutes, by the way. Hey, Muhammad Ali. One second. Muhammad Ali said, one second, they can't afford to sustain the club by June, they will be forced out. They've been looking for investors since the lockdown. They've been they knew this was coming, Mundo. It was a 10-year cycle. 10-year cycle of rinsing Man United without doing anything to make Man United successful other than top four. Man United, remember, have only ever sacked managers when the club thought they couldn't achieve top four. Van Gaal won an FA Cup, right, for Man United, and was sacked when he was literally in the press conference. You heard it from journalists. But the point that I want to make, I want to go back to what Muhammad Ali is saying here, is that they've been looking for investment. This here is the interesting thing. They will sell, they're putting that price high, and then you negotiate down, don't you? I mean, I've never sold anything. I've never sold a company. But apparently that's how it works in these companies. You go for you put the highest thing on the pro. I mean, we see it with transfer, innit? Then you negotiate down.
Bro, I think when you're buying and selling anything, you're playing poker. And I think the sale of Manchester United, if you're desperate and you look desperate, then somebody coming to buy is going to be looking to take advantage because he knows you're desperate for money. He knows this is going downwards. But if you're putting it out there like, listen, we're chilling, I'm in a hammock in the Caribbean and I've got a cigar under a coconut tree. And if somebody's got the minerals to give me what I want, then I'll think about letting it go. These are two different perceptions that you put out there. That will depend on what you attract initially and the starting point, the starting price of the sale from where you can negotiate. So that's what this is. This is poker. And I would say to simplify this thing here, this Manchester United transfer, I think it's very a good similitude of it is the Harry Kane saga with Man City last year. Daniel Levy, we know Harry Kane is not worth 130 something million pound. He's 29 years old. But to Daniel Levy, that's what he's worth. That's what he's worth. That's what he's worth to Daniel Levy. So Daniel Levy says to him, okay.
Some context. Can I just bring some context?
Go on.
Harry Kane's brother is so thick, he got him to sign a massive contract, I think. So Harry Kane's got a lot of years on his contract left. That's why Daniel Levy could demand such a big price per carry on. There's context.
I mean, fine. I mean, likewise, you know what? Manchester United, with the right investment, and if we were to win things again, the potential is massive, because even though you've won nothing for 10 years, not yet have we not won anything, we've not competed, we're still one of the most, popular, profitable bloody clubs in the world. Even I don't even know why the new generation is supporting United, but it just has a pull. So that you could think of that as the contract, but what he did was to say to everybody, okay, Harry is for sale. This is the price. This is what he's worth, because this is what we think Harry can do. Nobody came in for him, but you're still for sale. It's not my fault somebody don't want to pay what we think you're worth.
No, it wasn't. Man City came in, but Man City were only willing to pay 100 million.
Well, exactly. This is what I'm saying to you. And he didn't get sold, and Daniel Levy's still the boss of Harry Kane. Likewise, the Glazers.
His brother, who's thick, got him to sign a long-term contract for a lot
I know.
years. I just not have done that. If he had a clever agent, they would have signed for a couple of years and said, "Yeah, we'll sign another couple of years," and then he would have got out of there. That's the biggest reason.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, that's fine. But I think
his brother, being his agent, who knows nothing about how the game works, got himself in this situation, and everybody knows it. Everybody, because there is no way you're leaving a club when you've got 3.5 years.
I understand. I understand that.
The club are in position. If you got 2 years left, that's a different. If you got 1.5 years left, totally different conversations.
I mean, the principle of the matter, I'm just trying to simplify. It's the same. The club's for sale. We're not desperate to sell, is what they're saying. That's why the price is what the price is. We believe this club is worth this much, and this is why we believe it's worth this much. And this is the work that is non-football that we have done to make it very profitable. Yeah, we're not putting any money back in and stuff, but this is still a Goliath of a football club. Think what you could do if you started to win things, and if you come in and put some money in, long term you will reap the benefits. But the reality could be is, right, we've reached a point where we're not quite as fabulous as sponsors think we should be. They're starting to draw away. Our competition is pulling ahead of us, and in the reality, they're pulling ahead of us in a way that we know we cannot keep pace with them or bridge that gap anymore, irrespective of what we put in or what we're willing to put in or our model. But we can't tell the world that. The person that comes to buy this has to do, a due diligence, and they have to figure out what it's worth for themselves. And then that's the whole thing that I'm not involved in. But I think the Harry Kane sale, it's about perception. It's about, yep, he's for sale. It's not our fault, Harry. We think this is what you're worth. You've got a 5-year contract. You're our best player, but City weren't willing to pay the extra 10. So you're not going. But we put you up for sale, so you can't complain.
Yeah, but the difference is, Ali, the difference is, so if you wanted to make the analogy, the comparison to be more accurate, Man United, if you were comparing Man United to a player, we're talking about a player who is probably one of the best.
No, I'm not. Mondo, just to be clear,
coming to the final year of his contract. If Harry Kane was in the final year of his contract, Daniel Levy would have taken that £100 million.
Bro, just to be clear,
guys, you can listen. We can argue.
It's not the player, it's the situation, Habibi. That
Man United are like a player in the final year of his contract. That's what
Man United are like Ronaldo. Man United are like Ronaldo. If you want to compare anybody to Man United, are the Cristiano. Man United, if we were a player as Cristiano Ronaldo, a great guy, did amazing things. But unfortunately now, can't run, can't balance anything. It's falling over. It's crumbling. That's what.
We'll see about that at the end of the year.
Wheels have come off. I'm sorry, but the wheels have come off for Man United. But listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, because we are genuinely been going for 1 hour and 40 minutes. 1 hour and 40 minutes, and that's the record for United Real Therapy. So big up, and I just want to go back and just let everybody know, if you want to get some of this, the cap, this way, I'm really loving this hoodie. Make sure you go on this, you go and check out www.theculturecurateur.com. Use the code URT and check out 10% off, people. 10%. That's my brethren Nadeem. So try to help the brother out. So big up to Nadeem, and big up to the clothes that he's designing, man. I really like it. So big up. But listen, it's been an absolutely wild one. And just to sum up, brilliant game. No, brilliant drama. Not a brilliant game. It was brilliant drama. That's what I'm going on. It was one of the most dramatic World Cup finals ever. To me, it's been a brilliant World Cup because the underdogs, the teams, the upsets has been amazing. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina. They're celebrating in Saudi Arabia right now. They've beaten the world champions. They're the last team to beat the world champions. Saudi Arabia, they're having a party right now in Saudi Arabia. And by the way, big up to the Argentinian fans in Qatar. To me, that's what I will remember Qatar for, is the Argentinian fans and the Moroccan fans for me.
Yeah.
I like the Moroccan fans because the noise they created. The Argentinian fans, they were the best singing and bringing the sing-along. Obviously, the African teams, all but colours, Cameroonian, the dancers, the Senegalese, the Ghanaian. So you know what I mean? The Tunisians, they bought all of them.
What about the Barmy Army? What about the English Barmy Army, whatever, coming along with the trumpets and stuff? What about all that stuff?
You know what? I will say this. I will say this for the English fans. This World Cup being a dry World Cup, have you seen any nonsense from any English fan?
They look weird. They look weird sober.
No, man, they don't. They look. I swear. No, they look good, and I really think it was a major plus, and hopefully, it's been insightful for our fans. You know what I mean? Nobody's embarrassed themselves. No trouble. Really, really good.
People have loved it. I really did not like the fact that it was a Winter World Cup because it spoils the season. But we will see now the consequences of it. How much players have to recover emotionally. But guys, please join us tomorrow. We'll be live at 6:30, 5:30 with the Straight Jacket podcast with Saeed, 6:30 with Saeed, me and Tom. So big up to every one of you. Big up Malcolm. Big up Mundo. Bumbaye, he's not interested in social media. He's only on this channel. Maito Mundo, at Maito Mundo on Twitter. At Malcolm Kilsella on Twitter as well, and Instagram and everything else. But big up to every one of you. It's been a game. It's been the drama, because the quarterfinals got drama. The semi-finals hardly any drama, but the final typified the drama that we saw in the quarterfinals. That is what I'm taking away from this World Cup. But the idea that first World Cup in the winter, first World Cup in one city, it's incredible. People didn't travel. I think some fans broke a record. I think they got to 4 games, 4 World Cup games. Can you imagine that? Going to 4 World Cup games in one day. It's amazing. They went one at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, one at, I think, 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whatever it was, and then they went to the one at 7 o'clock. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. But big up to every Therapy Army. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We lose or draw, F the Glazers. And they're not getting 6 or 7 billion. No way in hell are they getting that. Big up to everybody. Hold tight on the Gino. Hold tight to all the regulars, innit? We deserve better. Luke, Claire, Lilas, Mohammed, everybody, Giorgio, Ahmed. Big up to everybody, man. Every one of you. Smash a like on the video, please. Subscribe to the channel. Let people know about the channel. Let the people join the community. To me, we do it on purpose because we went from having 500 subscribers to now nearly 6? Are we over 6? I think we're 7 or something like that, nearly 7. But 500 subscribers just chatting with a chat. So that the only YouTube channel for me, and Saeed as well, interacts with the chat. We don't think we're above it. Everybody's opinion counts, even the ones we disagree with. So win, lose, draw, Glazers out, Bankers out, and we'll see you tomorrow night. 6:30, but Straight Jacket podcast at 5:30 on Saeed TV. Peace, love, light. Any last words, guys? Any last words on the World Cup? Quickly. We'll go around Mundo quickly. Last words on this World Cup. What's the most significant moment of this World Cup for you?
For me, it's been about Morocco for me. That's been the fairy tale. It's been Morocco.
Atlas Lions.
Atlas Lions, and it's the first time where, respect to Argentina, I don't want to shit on the parade, but it's the first time that I think where I feel a team's won the World Cup, but they're not necessarily the best team in the world, if you know where I'm coming from.
Who do you feel was the best team?
Yeah?
I don't think there's anybody who stood out to be the best team, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's been no outstanding team. Normally, you get one team where you think, yeah, they're a really good team, but they've all been pretty average.
There you go.
Off.
There you go. Malcolm, what do you remember this World Cup for?
There's been so many moments, but
Your moment quickly.
Morocco. I think Morocco has to be Morocco. First African nation to reach the semi-final.
That's historic.
Yeah.
Historic. Bumbaye, quickly. What are you going to remember this World Cup for?
The fact that it was, a real success in every sense of the word, one of the best ones I've seen, in spite of a very difficult beginning for Qatar and the scrutiny they got. It really went down a roaring success. I think it's been one of the best ones I've seen.
Big love. We deserve better, man. Listen, for me, my moment, obviously, the team was Morocco, breaking record, first ever. Their fans are incredible, absolutely incredible. And I can't wait one day till the World Cup is hosted in North Africa or in another African country again, because I think they're such a football-loving people. They're berserk about football. And my moment of the World Cup for me was Martinez with his award, giving it some. Go on, son. Go on, Martinez.
Yeah,
Hakimi. You know what? Hakimi dancing with his mother was a special moment.
That's the moment. I'm Bufal as well. But peace, love, light, people. Take care. Good night. Glazers.